During this presentation, we will explore the nature, the effects, and the available solutions of adult emotional dependency, AED. The discovery of this condition represents a breakthrough in mental health. It identifies the root cause of some of the most common psychological compulsive conditions currently affecting our society. AED is the hidden culprit of most uncharted anxiety and fear, and consequently of stress, lack of confidence, poor performance, alcohol and drug abuse, depression, suicide, and much more. AED's global emotional effects are devastating. Alcoholism is the first largest mental health care problem in the world today. Depression is second, and social anxiety is third. In the adult U.S. population, 54% of women and 46% of men experience anxiety disorder. Over 78.6 million Americans numb their brains with psychiatric drugs to cope with anxiety. By 2020, mental disorders and substance abuse together will surpass all physical disorders as the major cause of disability worldwide. In order to understand AED, we first need to explore the mind, its purposes, and operation. Let's take a step back. Nature has provided us at birth with equipment that enables us to live a life on Earth. That is built similar to a biological robot, with legs as a transport system, hands as tools, eyes as cameras, ears as microphones, and a mouth as a speaker. In the most protected area of our life's equipment, nature has installed a supercomputer, the brain, and inside the brain, super software, the mind. The mind is the central control system of our equipment. It develops thoughts, feelings, and emotions, manages the body, acquires and processes data from our senses, and implements efficient responses to life's events. The relationship between mind and brain is similar to the computer's hardware-software correlation. The brain is the hardware that holds and processes the software of the mind and interfaces it with the organs of the body. The brain processes every action of the mind. This includes thoughts, feelings, and emotions, the action of the body, the immune system, digestion, reproduction of cells, etc. The processing capability of the brain is vast. However, it is limited. Brain power defines the amount of processing capability available to perform daily tasks. In this schematic of the mind, the blue area shows the modules that are pre-installed by nature and do not experience significant changes during the course of life. The modules in the green area are instead in constant development. Let's explore each module individually. Artificial intelligence built to operate self-managed equipment is typically equipped with an intelligent agent. This is the bit of software that oversees and manages the entire system. In humans, this is the voice inside our head with whom we talk all day long. Let's call it Genius. Genius is responsible for the optimal operation of our equipment, which is to respond with the safest and most efficient actions to life events. Genius is also responsible for improving our mind software and implementing our life's needs, ambitions, and purposes. The advisors to Genius are the instincts. These are hard-coded modules, purposely built in the mind to compel Genius to think and act according to their agenda. They use emotions and feelings to persuade or induce Genius to act upon their request. From the main four instincts, survival is responsible for securing all emotional and physical needs, including safety. Because it secures vital elements, it's allowed to use harsh emotions such as anxiety and fear, and can use the entire available brain power to satisfy its needs. The instinct responsible for improving the system's efficiency is development. It drives and compels Genius to learn and figure out solutions to improve our ability to think or to respond to events. Development is the drive behind learning and refining skills and abilities. Fulfillment drives enjoyment. This includes creativity, achievement, fun, happiness, hobbies, compassion, etc. The instinct of procreation secures the continuation of the human species, motivating Genius in the area of relationships, sexuality, and kids. Emotions and feelings are shared and implemented by the instincts in order to compel Genius to perceive and respond to events according to their priorities. The same type of emotions, such as joy or anxiety, are used by the four instincts to obtain different purposes. That is why the origin of our emotions may in some cases be confusing. The last module in the blue area is services. This includes all the software that manages the functions of the body: digestion, immune system, reproduction of the cells, etc. This services area will, in the year to come, be the main focus of most psychosomatic healing techniques. In the green area, perception represents our vision. This is a fundamental area of the mind that determines how we perceive events, our life, or ourselves. It's like magic glasses that filter our vision according to our awareness, experiences, intuition, instinctual priority, logic, etc. The next green box is logic and holds the algorithms that determine our cognitive thinking. This area improves vastly around 7 to 8 years old, when reasoning becomes active and is constantly upgraded throughout life. The memory bank is the software that records the past to improve the future. It's a giant database that indexes every event of our life, from before birth right until death. For each event, it collects all data received from our senses, the way we perceive them, and the logic attached to these, the behavior used as well as the outcome. The purpose of our memory bank is to match actual events with past ones in order to react with safer and more efficient behavioral responses. Remembering should not be confused with memory. The first replays images, sound, emotions, and feelings of past events. Instead, memory is the retrieval of data, instrumental in walking, talking, thinking, and acting, and it's constantly assessed millions of times every day. Each event creates or updates behaviors. These are the scripts that constitute the programs that we use to think, walk, talk, speak, drive, etc. The behavioral system is our applications folder, the collection of all our behavioral programs. Most behavioral programs are used unconsciously. These are formed by behaviors tested enough to be implemented without conscious decisions. This keeps our brain power available for other cognitive tasks such as creating, thinking, or learning. We create behavioral programs in the same way we build software applications. First, we write the scripts. Then, with the process of trial and error, we clear mistakes and improve their efficiency. As soon as they reach a satisfactory result, we integrate them with the application and let them run automatically. A classic example is learning how to drive. The first days are challenging. We struggle to link our actions with the theory of driving, the requests of our instructor, cars beeping, people walking, engine stalling. Then, each driving script is learned and tested several times until it becomes good enough to be executed without thinking. When the majority of these scripts are automatically executable, our driving becomes unconscious. We become attentive only when something unexpected occurs. Unexpected meaning that our mind can't implement one of the existing scripts, therefore has to define a new one. This is the natural process that our mind uses to build, update, and eventually archive most of our behaviors. Just a few are preset by nature and can't be altered. It's a bit like the software pre-installed by operating systems. One of them is emotional dependency. Emotional dependency is part of 3 behavioral programs hard-coded in the human mind for the continuation of the human species: in love, parental love, and emotional dependency. These are an involuntary set of behaviors: DNA inherited, not learned; compulsive, not decisional; emotional, not logical; initiated and interrupted only if and when specific conditions are met. In simple words, they are emotional protocols that operate independently from our will. Let's identify their purpose. In love, hard-coded in the human mind to promote procreation. In the frame of specific conditions favorable to procreation, the behavioral program in love enters into action by binding 2 people emotionally. It uses emotional, not logical tension implemented by attraction, pleasure, anxiety, and fear to reinforce the bond between the parties, aiming to create a family and procreate. When initiated, it can't be interrupted until the conditions are changed. Parental love. Hard-coded in the human mind to compel parents to fulfill their children's mental, physical, and emotional needs. It represents the most powerful emotional bond in human and animal species. It remains dormant until a child is conceived or born, but when initiated, can't be interrupted until the child becomes a self-reliant adult. Emotional dependency. Hard-coded in the human mind to keep children safe as well as promote their mental, emotional, and physical development. It reciprocates parental love, compelling children to seek safety, need for protection, mental support, need for leadership, guidance, and validation, emotional support, need for love, physical support, need for care. Emotional dependency keeps children safe. We come in this world without knowledge about danger, and until puberty, we are too vulnerable to survive on our own. Therefore, nature has built into emotional dependency the compelling need for protection from adults. If safety is unavailable, the child experiences distress, anxiety, and fear. Emotional dependency promotes the acquisition of behavioral direction and models. We come into this world without experiences, therefore without behaviors. To initiate and develop a children's behavioral system, nature has built into emotional dependency the compelling need to look up to adults in order to acquire the behavioral models. It is also built into children the need for guidance and validation to help them implement their new behaviors. If this mental support is unavailable, the children may suffer from confusion, lack of mental development, and misbehavior. Emotional dependency promotes the acquisition of emotional supply. Love is an essential component in human nature, key to children's healthy emotional development. Emotional dependency actively compels kids to seek love and emotional support from their parents. If this is unavailable, the child experiences loneliness, aggressiveness, sadness, and fear. Emotional dependency promotes the acquisition of physical supply. Children are unable to care for themselves. Therefore, they are compelled by emotional dependency to seek support from adults. This is essential for survival and typically available in our society. Emotional dependency starts at birth and is supposed to terminate just before puberty. During this period, parents are leading children and fulfilling their physical and emotional needs. Around puberty, young adults are meant to enter the phase of emotional self-reliance, shifting their emotional needs from parents to themselves. This is the essential condition that terminates emotional dependency. As soon as emotional dependency expires, the young adult experiences emotional freedom and personal fulfillment, and can finally enjoy relationships with their parents and peers without being compelled by emotional needs. This newly acquired self-reliance is trained during the teenage period under some parental supervision. Young adults terminate their emotional dependency using models of self-reliance learned from parents and caretakers. Unfortunately, most parents are either emotional absence or overcaring, and in most cases affected by adult emotional dependency, AED, themselves. Thus, they are unable to provide efficient self-reliance models. Without proper self-reliant education, the young adult doesn't own the necessary awareness and tools required to reach emotional independence and terminate emotional dependency. As such, this ensures that the emotional dependency stays active after puberty, transferring the compelling need for leadership, love, safety, validation, and guidance from adults to others. In other words, friends, partners, colleagues, or social environment, and may carry on through the entire life. Emotional dependency in adulthood degenerates into the devastating condition described as Adult Emotional Dependency, AED. Emotional dependency is designed to compel kids seeking emotional support. Therefore, if uninterrupted, will carry on promoting in adults the same compulsive need for safety, need for protection, mental support, need for leadership, guidance, and validation, emotional support, need for love, physical support, need for care. People are not surrogating parents bound by parental love, thus are usually unwilling and unable to satisfy the emotional needs compelled by AED. This is felt as rejection and lack of support, triggering all the harsh emotional responses presently choking our society. These include fear of rejection, judgment, abandonment, lack of confidence, lack of identity, feeling unsafe, being a people pleaser, narcissism, or emotionally numb if the pain is too great, and byproducts such as anxiety, fear, anger, sadness, social anxiety, isolation, neediness, confusion, overwhelm, and feeling stuck. Because emotions use a large amount of brain resources, AED massively misuses brain power, causing poor performance, procrastination, lack of focus, depression caused by the lack of brain power for the daily tasks, and addictions which are temporary solutions to reduce anxiety and fear. The intensity of the emotions caused by adult emotional dependency can be compared with the anxiety and pain produced by in-love or parental love if strained. Think about the anxiety, fear, and pain produced by in-love in case of separation or betrayal from the loved one, or the worries, anxiety, and fears produced by parental love in the case of a difficult child, or the unbearable emotional pain produced by the death of a child. Until today, we didn't know the origin of these symptoms. Therefore, instead of solving the root cause, we embrace solutions that help us to cope with it. Some try to secure safety and emotional supply from partners, strict religions, the army, and in extreme cases, jail. Others use prescribed or recreational substances. Most choose healthier solutions, such as therapy, groups, self-help, meditation, and spiritual practices. Another way to cope with AED is to use skills, beauty, success, wealth, performance, spirituality, or charisma to force others to supply emotional fulfillment. However, coping doesn't work for most. AED is ravaging our society, taking lives, inflicting suffering, and greatly reducing people's joy and efficiency. To recap, the natural emotional dependency lifespan is 11 to 12 years. At around 8 years old, young adults start developing reasoning. This is a mind feature that fully matures around 18 to 20 years old. The development of cognitive thinking causes to youngsters the natural need to become self-reliant, and this emotional step is meant to be finalized around puberty. This process is driven by emotional and physical independence models learned during childhood from adults. If these models are missing, the young adult may not gain self-reliance, therefore emotional dependency will not terminate, becoming the distressing AED. How can we fix it? The only requirement to terminate AED is to become emotionally independent, acquiring and implementing the missing parental self-reliance models based on the power of self-leadership, self-protection, self-love, unconditional, self-guidance, self-validation, and self-care. In this slide, we can observe the sequential effects produced by acquiring consciousness about self-reliance. 1. The perception of our ability to be self-reliant becomes reality. 2. We establish our leadership over our mind as the only needed emotional supplier. 3. The need for others clears. 4. AED, now satisfied, ceases to operate. 5. New behavioral choices are implemented. 6. The needs of survival are fulfilled. 7. Negative emotions as well as the misuse of brain power terminates. The emotional freedom produced by the termination of AED provides the ability to transform the needs produced by dependency to the autonomy of choice offered by interdependency. This removes the need for others, allowing choices, leadership, and confidence. It clears fears and anxiety, thus addictions, depression, and procrastination. It releases misused brain power that can be reallocated to high performance, focus, creativity, and happiness. Imagine a world where we can enjoy everybody because everyone in our world is there by choice, not need. Imagine being able to use all our mental power to invent, conquer, achieve, and love instead of wasting our brain's resources on seeking love and validation from others. Imagine the freedom that comes from feeling equal to everyone, choosing instead of being chosen, loving unconditionally instead of trying to secure love and appreciation from someone else. Imagine the power of being beautiful, skilled, and rich because we are instead of trying to be to get emotional rewards. Imagine being able to love without fear and simply enjoying it. Imagine a world without all the pain, fears, and addictions resulting from adult emotional dependency. We can help create that world by embracing the mission to offer the world awareness about AED. This will urge health professionals to create self-reliance courses and therapeutic approaches to eradicate AED from our society. Our company is still in the startup phase and looking for investors. However, as soon as we reach financial stability, we are planning to do just that, offering the Bosurgi method in virtual reality to jails, poor rehabs, and underprivileged communities where we know that we can make a dramatic difference. We have also designed large tracks fitted with chairs and goggles to bring the solution to the people most in need. If you would like to know more or keep updated with our progress, you can visit www.aed.education or the Mind Fitness Lab website at www.mindfitnesslab.com. To contact Luca, you can email Luca at mindfitnesslab.com or visit his site, www.lucabosurgi.com.